Okay, you ever wonder why you put in all the effort, but then the weight just comes back? It's common and it happens to everybody, right? Well, I want to give you the reason why you do gain this weight and then what to do about it. So if you don't know who I am, my name is 𝔬𝕝𝕝𝕝, and I've been featured in many places like Men's Health, 𝑇Nation, Elite Fitness, and I become one to know and be known as the body wizard, as I like to figure out things and strategies and the reason why behind a lot, right? And it gets us caught because a lot of us just end up Googling things and we're worrying about the next supplement or why this happened, but we don't actually take the time to figure it out. Well, I've got this covered for you today. So let's get right to it. You know, we all love that phase of when we're losing weight, but why do we always end up regaining it? And here's the thing. As a female, men too, but more so women, your body's gonna love fat, right? It's like a massive good defense mechanism against life in general. And so, yes, the fat does taste good in a lot of different restaurants, but we also know that the fat is loving because of the survival of what it does. It is the body's main source of survival. It's also great for fertility for women, and it's also great for hormones. So why would the body not love fat? So it's gonna want to, it's kind of like adjusting the thermostat in your house. When you set it below what it's actually set to, it's gonna wanna creep back up there. Same with your body's fat. Your body, the more you lose, it's gonna wanna get it back. It loves that stuff, right? So then what we got to see what happens is the maladaptation of what the world gives us, which is stress, right? Not too many people in our world are not stressed out. And stress will cause a lot of down regulation within the system itself. And when we see stress happen, right, this can be in many different forms, whether you are already low carb dieting, you already are calorie counting and putting yourself into a calorie restrictive diet, you already are in a stress state, maybe with life, traveling, maybe 2 different jobs, maybe you've got multiple kids and shuffling them to practices. You're always under states of stress, but maybe more so than something else. Because what stress will do, more so in women again, is begin dropping leptin. And leptin is a hormone that's gonna be like the one that says, hey, I'm good, I'm full, I'm safe, I'm satiated. But when this drops quicker than in most men, you're gonna start seeing things that happen from what? The stress, because you're starting to say, hey, I'm losing weight because I'm working out harder. I'm following a good restrictive meal plan. I'm taking a lot of supplements, or I'm doing a thing that's maybe Octavia where you're not eating whole foods. So your body begins to adapt from this and you start dropping energy expenditure. So naturally, as your body, and you gotta think about this as the main thing you can take away from this video, is your body will adapt to anything you do to it. So if you're feeding it less, your energy expenditure is going to be less. You move less, your energy expenditure is going to be less. You eat more, you're going to start burning more. So that's how a lot of you guys probably even notice, like, well, my husband can eat like a horse and he loses weight. Well, his body's adapted, right? So when your leptin drops, you're also dropping energy expenditure. Your sleep becomes disrupted, let's be real. You begin having more cravings and your mood also then becomes dysregulated. And all these things are controlled from a lot of different neurotransmitters within the brain even, right? Like serotonin, dopamine, these all kind of get affected when your body gets into states of depletion and craving more fat for energy, right? So as your leptin drops, then guess what? It's then the chain reaction of your thyroid. Thyroid becomes to get lower, and as that happens, your energy starts tanking, T3 conversion then drops, and we see that happen because of what I read a lot of times on Dutch tests, right? And from Dutch tests, I get to see a 4-point cortisol test, and that's indicative to what helps me understand if it truly is thyroid, because sometimes it starts in the adrenals from having high cortisol, because when you chronically diet, when you also have a stressful environment, you also then start working out harder, or maybe you're cardio bunny. Okay, these things elevate cortisol. And too much of an elevation of cortisol is going to eventually burn you out. And that becomes a problem, right? Because then it can affect your thyroid, right? Because then the actual sign of high cortisol leads to then a flatline curve within your thyroid and low cortisol production. So that happens from then your thyroid dropping. When thyroid drops, you then become even more maladapted to what life is throwing at you, or become even more lethargic. And then when that happens, your motivation's gone. And then when your motivation's gone, you've got no energy, you don't want to work out. What is the one thing that you probably end up doing? As most of my clients, Mike, I fell off track. Well, then it spirals backwards, right? You see the reaction here? But then when it spirals backwards, you don't have any of these systems built to handle. Why? Because you've already now created an estrogen imbalance. Estrogen is one of the main things that helps your body either A, maintain muscle mass, B, burn body fat, C, regulate your, I want to call it mood, energy, and well-being. It's like the main sex hormone for women that you've got to have. But yet it does even get estrogen dominant in some, decline in some. Both are not good things. And when you don't have more muscle mass, like many don't because they're doing too much cardio, or they're not obviously as muscular as men, you then don't have the ability to maladapt to these states of the body. So the house can't stand up whenever you start falling off track. So what happens when you come off the injections, come off the diets? Your body's like, whoa, okay, I need the fat. Let's get back to where we were at the set point, right? Or, oh my gosh, the stress is already so high, it's not controlled. So we're going to now keep leptin where it's at, and it's not going to do a dang thing because we're not able to sustain the actual calories we're intaking, right? So if you have more muscle mass, you can become more thermic. So that then becomes a problem because your lower progesterone also then makes it harder for your body to actually get the result from having lean muscle mass, which is why you see women that are already more naturally fit, they have a harder time becoming obese or becoming more overweight because their body already has the muscle mass. So once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. But that's why I'm saying it's very important for women. What? So Mike, how do you face this, right? So what do you do? Well, that's where I come into a 4-step system. And my 4-step system is going to work on these components. And when you work on these components, you can start building the house, starting with the base. So that way that things, when it's up, the walls don't come crashing down when life hits, because we know life's going to hit, right? Like, you're going to be stressed out. It's common. You're going to have phases where you don't feel like doing things. You're going to have life, and that's where a lot of fitness coaches don't understand. I do. Stuff's going to hit, but you've got to have the systems built. And when they're built, the body can withstand. And then when you do fall off track, your metabolism can actually handle what's happening to it. Why? Because when I take you through these processes through the liver and the gut, you're not in a maladaptive state with your nutrition, with your calories, with your energy, and with your sleep. So when you have the systems built, they can stay up, and then they can be rocked with stress and still be resilient. And that's where then when we do that, guess what? Easier to build muscle. Then you become more thermic. Then you can start eating more food that you enjoy. So if you're curious about how I work, what I do, how this can be helpful for you, I really encourage you to reach out. Just make sure you click below and get on a call with me. Let me really walk you through the strategies that I take clients through to start building their base and building the foundation for their body. All right, so God bless. Hopefully this helps. Don't stay stuck in this state. Make sure you understand what your body needs to get back.